Hey guys, it's Chris and Vitaly with Raise Ready, and today we're going to be talking about text and AI and where they belong in your process as a syndication, right? So this is a wildly awesome topic because what AI just dropped in 2023, we're here in 2024, and it just hit the scene in a big way, right? ChatGPT came out with theirs, Google came out with theirs, Facebook's coming out with theirs. Everybody wants to be on top of the AI game. What that means for us as marketers is that we get to leverage this technology and place it in our process to make our lives much easier and to become more effective at raising capital. So, Vitaly, I'd like to pass it to you and get your thoughts on this.
So for sure. So one thing I reflect on often is a year ago, I could not have fathomed that this is going to be a tool set that's going to become available to us. And where it is now and how much it has permeated in not only in our system, but the systems that we leverage to help people raise capital. And so it has so thoroughly ingrained itself into our society so quickly that still is one of the things that blows my mind. It's just how quickly it all came out, right? Because a year ago, you wouldn't have been able to have been like, yeah, I'm going to just type in a prompt and get a whole year's worth of email campaigns or topic or, headlines for my website or descriptions for, a summary of a pitch deck, for example, right? So it's totally insane how quickly it all came out. And so, yeah, that's something that I appreciate quite often. So, a lot of people ask us frequently, where does, are we using AI? And where does it fit in? So I'm going to ask that question to you, Chris. How do you answer that question?
Yeah, so AI is not only great for generating text, right? There's tons of copywriting that goes into any business, really, but it also goes into the image generation, right? So if we can start at the top, when we talk about bringing in leads, accredited investors, it starts with image generation, right? We're able to create these ad creatives with AI. And so we'll use things like what's it called? Midjourney. And then we'll use things like Runway ML to even add motion to those images. So we get both the static placements and we get the video placements online. So that's at the ad level, right? The AI is definitely part of that process. It will be forever, as long as we're doing this. It's going to be part of that process because it kicks out awesome images, and they're showstoppers, right? Mostly what you see is just like picture of apartment building and numbers over it, and that can be effective, right? We still use stuff like that too. We call it data driven, right? Data driven creatives, but if you still need something that's emotionally appealing or just something that appeals to the lizard brain and get someone to stop because they're like, whoa, that image is wild. I want to see, what this is about on like a more instinctual level.
Hey, Chris, I know this is totally wild for me to even come up with this right now, but would you be able to share some of the images that we've created for our latest campaign for that Fusion Energy Fund? Because I think there's some really impressive
yes.
So while Chris is pulling that up, so I come from a design background, and I went to school for graphic design over a decade ago. And, one of the tools that we were using is Photoshop. And when you would see images that we can generate with a string of a text in seconds, that would take hours to do, and that is hours for a good designer to do. And you would have to merge images, like 100 different images to come up with this one, and you would have to get really good at layering and blending and conceptual design to be able to say, okay, like this is going to go here, this is going to go here, I'm going to blend these together to make it seamless. That used to take hours, if not days. Okay. And that's how I started learning Photoshop and design. Is I just said, okay, I'm just going to create these wild images and abstractions and illustrations. And now within seconds, we can type up some text and you'll get
Well,
various options.
let us show you. Yeah, let us show you what happens
Yeah,
after
share
that
your
text,
screen,
right?
man.
You type up some text, and what
Yeah.
happens, we'll show you right now.
Yeah, and if you could, without sharing the details of the.
Yeah, there's nothing here that's
Yeah.
would violate any kind of NDA, so I think we're good to
Thank
share here. So these are the kind of ads that we're able to kick out. Notice that we do them 1x1 and 9x16s, again, to hit all the placements. And check out these ads, right? This is about fusion energy. These are all AI generated.
Zoom in on zoom in on the light bulb, for example. Like, let's look at the detail here, for example, because this is like amazing. Look at this. So not only were they like, yes, I'm going to put a bunch of, so what did you type, by the way, to generate this image specifically?
It was something along the lines of like, something along the lines of like I think we literally typed in like nature in light bulb, something like that along those lines. And then try to expand from there.
Okay, so zoom in. I want to point out a couple of details. So back in the day, and this is how a lot of people still do this, by the way, they would say, okay, I'm going to find an idealistic image. And by the way, all these images, they come with a certain style. They come with a very high level of polish. Like, think Coca-Cola level of advertisement, right? So you would have to find an image of trees, of a meadow, and you would have to. This would probably be a composite of maybe 5 to 10 to 15 images that you would take little bits of and Photoshop together. But not only that, you would use some tools in Photoshop to refract the image, the imagery in the light bulb to make it look like, oh, okay, the light is refracting around the light bulb and bending the things that are inside. So the fact that it just knew how to do that, I mean, that's pretty amazing. So there's a super high, and dude, I've zoomed into these things so many times to try to find a flaw. I cannot. It is almost dangerous to a point, but if used responsibly, like any tool, it becomes a really, really powerful, set of tools. So let's look at that one on the right there. By the way, that one is super fascinating too. So do you remember what you did here?
It was a lot of, all the language was surrounding like green cities, green energy, nature, plants, things like that. I think we referenced an image of a building in Singapore. There's like this apartment that has like this green stuff going off, and we use that as a reference image. We just pulled stuff like that in. Sorry, I can't remember the exact prompt.
That's perfectly fine. But yeah, so this is, and I love the blending of the background against the foreground. So it creates a really nice contrast from like the blue background, the dark, deep blue, and the really bright green. Like that contrast is exactly what would get people to stop scrolling. And as they're on Facebook looking at their boring pictures of their family, no offense, I have those too. But then this is something that's totally unique and different, and it's so unreal, but it borderlines reality, which is what makes it interesting, because it makes you look at it twice, and that's exactly what is the perception that we want to bring to our ads and our creative.
Yep. And so there was more created, just to give a quick, we put the copy over it, right? There's always things that we're testing here and things like that. So, energy, talking about exactly what this is. This guy, I don't know what it is about this guy, but I want to be this guy's friend. He's not even real. He just looks like so cool. And then it kind of like more before and after-ish type of imagery, right? Like, hey, this is what it would look like in the old way, but look, it could be green and cool and healthy for the planet on the other side, stuff like that. Just really powerful creative. So AI is a part of this creative process, right? Very, very important for us, and something we'll continue to leverage, and it'll only get better. Like, this is what, like year one, like it dropped in 2023. Here we are able to create imagery like this with prompts. That's pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So that we just talked about using AI to generate ad creative. So just the visuals. What can you tell us about using AI to generate the ad copy, and how and where else is AI used?
So in the copy process, you're using ChatGPT, right? You're telling that the prompts are something like this, and the prompts is where the juice is at. Okay, so when I say, hey, this is what the prompts are, like, perk up, bust out your notebook, and write this down. Okay, so the prompts are, you're telling ChatGPT that it is a professional, top of the line, world class Facebook ad copywriter, right? And so it knows what it's doing, it knows who it is. Then you're telling it all the details about the deal, right? Say, hey, look, this is what the opportunity is. Give it your track record too. Put as much information as you can in the thread first, and then start telling it to kick you out copy surrounding the opportunity, because it has information to reference, right? So what that looks like is, hey, we are raise ready capital, right? We have this track record, this much under AUM. We've been doing it for this long. This is how many investors we have. This is how much we've raised, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this is the opportunity. Boom, 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 all the details. Now you're going to tell it, okay, kick me out headlines for this Facebook ad. Kick me out 10 headlines. Okay, now kick me out body copy. Excellent. Now kick me out body copy again, right? And do that. Now, I will say there always has to be a level of human touch to these things, because check this out. ChatGPT loves to get, loves to use flowery language sometimes. You'll see this word all the time. This is how I know that text is ChatGPT generated. There's always the word robust in there. It loves the word robust for whatever reason, and it's constantly in there. So I don't know why, but almost every single piece of copy that has robust in it, I'm like, that's ChatGPT generated. So make sure that you're editing it and giving it a human touch and formatting it as well.
It loves the word excellence too. I feel like
Yeah.
that's another one I see all the time.
Yeah. So there's these kind of telltale signs that they're AI generated, but that is definitely one of the places we leverage it.
So what's the reason for having multiple AI generated creatives? Like, what's the reason for having multiple UI or AI creatives? This is my family, by the way.
Yeah, jumping in on the recording. Hey guys. Yeah.
Bye.
So.
Oh, something's about to be thrown. Everybody duck.
The launcher is getting ready.
Come on. Come on.
Hey, this is live and real, guys. So
this is the benefit of doing these things live.
That's what you're gonna get.
It'll work from home.
So to your question, look, you don't want to just create one ad. All the AI images that I showed you, those ads, those aren't even all the ads that we created for that campaign. We're able to kick out a lot in a short amount of time because we developed a system around it, right? And AI is a big part of that. Now, something that to Vitali's question, he said, hey, why do you need to create all these, multiple pieces of copy and headlines and creative? You need to constantly be testing. So ads will experience, sometimes ads will just land flat from the get-go. But even if it's the best ad you've created, it's the most amazing thing you've ever seen, all ads experience ad fatigue, no matter how cool they are or how funny they are or whatever. And so there's only a certain amount of, there's a lifetime that an ad has. You have to be ready to replace it, replenish it, put new copy, get people interested. Plus, you're just wanting to try all the angles, right? You need to be nimble and test these things very fast. Once you find a winner, that's when you start to scale. But you need to be able to set a control, right? And say, hey, look, here's an ad that's a winner. And then you're constantly trying to beat the control, right? Okay, can we get leads at a lower cost than what we've set with this benchmark, with this benchmark ad. So that's the reason you need to, kind of double, triple, quadruple down on the creatives and the copy.
Awesome.
Sally, can you speak to AI and texting and kind of how the text strategy fits into the syndication world?
Yeah. So taking a step back, just texting in general, AI generated or not, it's a way to get in front of people relatively quickly and resistance free. If you just rely on email, then there's a very good chance that the person on the other end isn't going to see your email. But adding another touch point, which is a text message, which is becoming a lot more sacred than email, but also a lot more abused lately. You have to kind of be careful about how you use text messages, and then especially how you implement artificial intelligence into your communication. So it has to come off supernatural, and so there's a couple of ways to do this. So one of the ways is let people know that, hey, this is this is an AI feature that you're interacting with. That's one way. Another way is to, your AI is only as strong as the content that you feed it. So make sure that you feed it only the best information, and keep the scope of the of the purpose of the AI bot, whether it's text message or anything really. Let's talk about texts for now. Keep the scope very tight. So don't let it go off on tangents. Keep it, like, for example, the bots that we implement they're scheduling bots. Their sole purpose is to get people who come into our flows to schedule a call with our clients and ourselves. And so that's one way we kind of keep the scope down and make it so that it doesn't start talking about some nonsense. And the benefit there is, what the cool thing about this is also that when somebody comes in, they receive a text message right away, and we can intelligently program it so that it sends out an appropriate text message depending on the moment on when you came in around the week. And we want to get people on the phone as quickly as possible. And so what that means is that if somebody comes in on Monday through Thursday, they get a text message that says, hey, you have time today or tomorrow. If they come in on Friday, they say, hey, you have time today or Monday. And if they come in over the weekend, we let them know, hey, we're out of office right now, but we'll follow up with you first thing on Monday. And so aside from that, also there's another way where since the AI bot is connected to our calendar, it knows what our availability is. And so it automatically tries to schedule a call with a prospect without sending them a Calendly link or any kind of calendar link, HubSpot, you name it. And because it just says, hey, I have these times available. Are you available any of these times? And then it says, okay, I'm available Thursday. Is AM or PM better for you? And then it just kind of zeroes in on the available slot and confirms the appointment without asking the prospect to go through the calendar link and to set up the appointment themselves. So it offers a more kind of white glove service. And so making sure that you have the right context and the right scope of what you want it to do. And so I think those are really the two, and personalization too. Personalization is a really important one. So those three things is how we leverage AI and text message automation in the a combination of those two things, and how we get really, really good show up rates to our to converting leads to calls.
Yeah, well put. And here's what I want to say. AI is so new, we can't even fathom what it's going to be looking like, not just in the short term, right, in just a couple years, but in the long term. Think about like a decade or 2 decades from now, what is AI going to be? It's going to be insane. Yeah. But as it pertains to syndication and raising capital, we're always on the hunt for ways to leverage AI in this process. And it's just such a powerful tool. We're not even able to fathom all the ways that it will be able to be part of this process. But when they do arrive, we leverage them. So we just shared with you guys a couple of examples of how we're leveraging it for ourselves and for our clients. It's a really big deal. It's very powerful.
I want to mention one more thing about compliance too. As this gets built out more, there's going to be more compliance, regulatory enforcement on how people use AI for obvious reasons. So like, for example, FCC just came out with, they just passed a regulation that said that there cannot be AI robocalls essentially that mimic a voice, or it has to be it has to be a recording of a natural voice when somebody's calling you. So things like that, they're already starting to crack down on that. Like, even to get a text phone number, there's a lot of things that have happened in the last 6 months to even get access to a text phone, to a marketing phone number that you can use to text. You have to go through kind of a stringent application process, and we worked really hard on figuring out what that formula is for what we need to send in order to get approved for, not just for a marketing phone number to begin with, but a marketing phone number for an investment firm, right? And so that comes with its own set of challenges. And so we got to a point where we're consistently getting phone numbers approved, and that took a while, and we spent a lot of time and money trying to go through these application cycles to try to figure out what that right formula is, and while still remaining maintaining accuracy for what that phone number is going to be used, right? That's really important. So
yep. And that was we cracked the code. It was very hard, but we took the time. But yes, as you can see, there's going to be things in place that try to curb any nefarious actors that would try to leverage AI, for evil. But as we wind down here, just wanted to thank you for sticking with us this far into the video. It's a very exciting time for AI and how it's blending into capital raising efforts in the capital raising world. So any other thoughts you'd like to leave with, Tali?
No, I think overall, just, really excited to see how this is going to evolve. Again, we're just at the very beginning of this whole thing. And I do want to mention this, though, that we are going to be doing these videos. And I think I mentioned this in our last call. We're going to be doing these videos at the exact same time every single week. And we're going to be opening up this call for people to join us and have access to both Chris and myself, and we'll, and you'll be able to join in on these calls, sit in on these calls live, and join in on the conversation live. And we're thinking about how we're going to use that time. It's going to be for Q&A, essentially, for capital raising, marketing specifically. And something that's a little bit more interesting than a Q&A, because you can always bring that, no problem, great. But what would be even better is if you brought a funnel for us to review. So if you have a marketing funnel that you've set up for raising capital, bring it to us, and we're going to go through the whole thing step by step and give you very actionable feedback on, so you can take it back to your team and improve on that. And so we'll share all of that information. This call is strictly designed to provide value, and for you to kind of hang out with us, get a feel for our personality, and just the more the merrier. So that's basically, that's all I wanted to mention there. And so you'll get an invite to this call. We'll send out a couple of emails, marketing this this call, so you can save it to your calendar. And that'll be happening every single week at the exact same time, and more details to follow. So keep your eyes peeled on your inbox.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Awesome. Bye.
All right.
All right. I'm going to leave this one.
Okay. I'll see you later.
I have to get to the next one. Bye.
Okay. Bye.